I made it just in the nick of time, and we're snowed in. I'm not going anywhere except my front yard. I'll get to see my house. It is day 7, and I do have a beautiful view. Oh, my husband's my biggest fan. And then we have a beautiful golf course. And I had a message, when you get there was something, I woke up and I was like, oh, I should write it down. I even had a dream about it, but it'll be for another day. But one thing that came up on a coaching call last night, and a theme that's really important, or maybe a posture, a way of being that can be really helpful when you're trying to make some big changes. The dogs want to come out with me. Of course they do. Is being curious, to really have a curious, open mindset, to be curious about what's possible, to be curious about yourself, to be curious and pay attention, like a scientist would if they're running an experiment. Really have that attitude towards yourself and what you want in life versus judgment. Judgment really keeps us stuck and in the shame cycle. And even this morning, as I'm trying to really read through the Bible this year, I've made it to Exodus. Woo! And the story this morning was Moses and the burning bush. Even if you're not a Christian and you're not familiar with the Bible, hey, Kim, good morning, rise and shine. Everybody knows the story about Moses and the burning bush. But what did that take? A lot of people, if they literally saw that, would you be curious? Or would you run away? That's a pretty freaky sight, right? The Bible is not boring, by the way. But really, think about that. Moses, and a lot of the stories in the Bible, if you really pay attention, it required these people that were called to be curious and then take the next step of faith. Okay, I'm going to trust. So curiosity is a really important concept. And it's really, I think it's critical to being on a journey and to even be, my whole system of coaching is called Own It, and that stands for something. You can go to my website or contact me or listen to my podcast to hear that whole spiel. But owning it is not about just being perfect and having it all figured out. A lot of it is curiosity. And you've got to know yourself. It's honesty and curiosity, seeing what's going on around you and being curious. And being curious about even your own desires versus, being judgmental and going, oh yeah, that's for other people. That could never be for me. What's possible? Be curious about what's possible. And it's day 7, y'all. Okay, you don't want to look at me. Look at this. It is 8 degrees here. Say a lot of prayers for people that are out and being affected or were affected by this yesterday. Lots of accidents, people stuck in their cars and on highways and roads for hours and hours in this frigid cold. And I'm out here, it's 8 degrees where I am, and it's still beautiful out. And I've got friends now all over the world. And one messaged me the other day, she's in the Yukon, what? Where it is 46 below. So then I'm like, oh yeah, maybe 8's not so bad. And I think they do Celsius up there. So it's probably even more. I don't know how to translate that. So anyway, I'm kind of just yammering. I got contact lenses. I'm going to let y'all into my private life for a minute. I got contact lenses yesterday for the first time. These eyeballs have never had contact lenses in them. And then I came home and had to be on Zoom coaching calls all afternoon. So that had me sleeping in a little bit early. It wore when your body has to get used to something new, my eyes were curious. My head was curious, like, what's happening here? What are you doing to us? Curiosity can also do that. Like, it really exercises your brain. That's another really good benefit, like cognitively. I know me, I'm, approaching 50 in a few months and, starting to think about the second half of life and moving and really wanting to, take this whole life on earth thing kind of seriously. I played around with it long enough and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This might be over soon. What kind of legacy am I leaving? And really getting curious about my life and what I would like my legacy to look like, asking myself some of these tough questions. And it really is it's good for your brain. It's good for your brain health, your spiritual health, your mental and emotional health. Curiosity just has so many benefits. So if life has gotten a little bit boring for you, or you're kind of stuck in a rut of routine, curiosity is a great place to start. And it can even be just paying attention, just being mindful and starting to pay attention to what you're doing in your normal day and what kind of outcome is that creating? That's the O in my Own It. Like, what outcome are you creating? And really take that a few steps down the road. Be curious. And if I made a change, what could happen with that? I've always been dreaming about, what it would be like to exercise regularly, or I've always wanted to go explore and hike, or, whatever it is for you, painting. If you've had something that's gone dormant in you that you love to do, let's get curious about that again. Curious about your faith. Yeah, I hear about people, how they really have this great relationship and they get to know God and Jesus and, or whatever spiritual, there's a connection there. People that have a spiritual connection, whether it's in, their Eastern philosophies, whatever. But there's something different about that. People are thinking about that. Like, get curious. That is my... curiosity can take you adventurous places and on fantastic journeys. So that's all I've got for now. I'm going to go back and get warmed up and rest my eyeballs today. Bye. I am in Louisville, the Louisville, Kentucky area. I am out in the burbs. We don't even play golf, but there you go. It's pretty to look at. So that is where I am. Thanks for asking and thanks for being here. Go rise and shine. Together we can change the world.